What is up, all you GBA type fans? This is Tom. I'm here bringing you week 2 of the GBA. Now, last week didn't go so hot. We learned a few things about our team, like that we can't take on Bird, spooky Bird. So we only have to play that once. So yes, all right. But that being said, every week, win or lose, I will learn and continue to learn and get better. There's no stagnancy here, and there's always room to improve my playing, as we saw last week. So, this week, we're taking on the Arizona Deoxys, led by Gubs Tack. I'm sorry, what? Oh, he quit. Oh, okay. So, never mind. We're taking on the Tampa Bay Luxrays, now coached by Monotoii. So, he will be inheriting Gubs' roster. And this week, I get to do what I wanted to do last week. So, what we're looking at right now is a full team breakdown of Gubs' or now Mono's team. Now, the way this is going to work is essentially I am going to look at the other coach's team just like this, just like you're looking at it right now, and I will go over what I consider a threat. Now, after that, I'll go over my team, just what I'm bringing in a very light overview. I don't like doing the whole in-depth team breakdowns and the team builders, and I just don't care about that. But for right now, we're looking at his team, and the top line is going to be what I think is most threatening on his team. Middle line, I'm also expecting, or is very threatening in terms of my team building purposes, and the bottom line being options that he could bring, but necessarily things that I can definitely handle if they were to show up in the team preview. So first line, top line, the first three right there being Azumarill, Megamanectric, and Porygon Z. I have very few checks for those, especially Azumarill, because the Belly Drum set or the Choice Banded set just pretty much buttfucks my team. I don't have that many options, and once Jellicent, which will be my primary switching for it, once that's gone, done, he can just pretty much set up on... Actually, he can't set up on Jellicent, but, he can pretty much just knock things out with Aqua Jet, so I don't have a very good switching for that either. Megamanectric, same case. It's fast. I don't really have a good T-Bolt switch in, and then with the coverage of Flamethrower, he can then go ahead and just pick off what he likes. Yes, with that. Okay. So, like I said, the T-Bolt, he can pretty much pick up Starmie. Sylveon's not going to really like taking hits. Cobalion's going to get wrecked by a Flamethrower, even an Overheat. Again, Jellicent's not going to appreciate T-Bolts. Next up, we have Porygon Z. Now, Porygon Z, I have very few... common thing, very few ways to take it on. Mega Aerodactyl's not going to appreciate Tri-Attack, especially if he's Scarfed. I learned that Timid Scarf outpaces a Mega Aerodactyl, and pretty nicely too. I think it's probably like 40 points. He outspeeds me. And then the Tri-Attacks are just going to blow my mind, and then he can run coverage like T-Bolt or Dark Pulse for Starmie, Xatu, Jellicent, whatever. And maybe even Ice Beam for Jellicent, or not Jellicent, for Noivern, but on the same case he can just go for Tri-Attack, and then, again, wreck some bases. Next up, Emboar. Now, I do realize I have Jellicent, but if he brings Emboar and Azumarill, which seems kind of, kind of foolish when I'm thinking about it now, I just don't have very good switch-ins for a hard fire type. So, I mean, if he's like Choice Scarf, Choice Banded, whatever, or if he's just a Life Orb or an Expert Belt set, he could pretty much go for Grass Knot against Jellicent, go for Flare Blitz, Wild Charge against Xatu. He can go for Superpower or Head Smash against the Arcanine. Yeah, I could intimidate it, but it's still not going to like taking those hits, and then everything else just kind of gets wrecked by it. I don't see him bringing Emboar as much as I think in my own head, but on the same token, he definitely can use it very effectively if he does bring it. Next up, we have just his wall core options, which will be pretty much Bronzong, Amoonguss, and Mandibuzz. If he ends up bringing those, you definitely see him essentially just... So the way that it works is that if he brings Bronzong, Starmie kind of has a hard time because I don't have proper coverage to beat the Bronzong, and if I pick a move, he can then go into... If I pick the Psychic move, he goes into Mandibuzz. If I pick the Water move, he goes into Amoonguss. With the Amoonguss, if I somehow get Mega Aerodactyl in, the flying a type attack, he's going to go into the Bronzong, or he can even go into Mandibuzz. Rock type, go into Bronzong. So you get my point here. He has good checks for Mamoswine, Starmie, and Mega Aerodactyl. And then even for Sylveon, Hyper Voice, he has 2 good checks in Amoonguss and Bronzong for Hyper Voice. And then, yes, so HP Fire is not really going to do that much if I do go for it. Next up, he has 2 kind of wild cards. I think offensive Garchomp would hit me pretty hard. The Swords Dance set with probably Dual Stab and Iron Head or Poison Jab for Sylveon. I can definitely see him doing that, although I think defensive Sylveon, if I brought it in outright, then he sets up, I could maybe go into Jellicent, take that hit. But, you know, it's not... This team is very good. When I looked at it on paper initially, I was like, oh yeah, I can plan pretty well. But depending on how he conducts this battle, I'm definitely a little wary about how my walls are going to check his offensive mons, and how his walls are very well going to check mine. Thing with the Selgor, it's kind of a threat, but on the case is that if he brings the Final Gambit, the only thing that could really take it and live it, and when I say live, I mean like very low percentage left HP wise, is Jellicent and Cobalion. Like, it's an option, and it's certainly fast enough to be a spooky option. So I'm always kind of fearful of that. He can also, you know, just pack good coverage and like Bug Buzz and Giga Drain and, you know, any kind of hidden power value. So that's definitely an option. I don't really want him setting up any hazards against me. Next up, the Lantern and the Hitmonchan aren't my biggest concerns. Lantern I could pretty much check. I can check his Lantern with Sylveon, and then I'm probably I can compact some coverage move on Jellicent to, you know, take it on, especially if it's a immediate switch in into Jellicent. And then, but otherwise, I mean, it's okay. And then the Hitmonchan, I don't necessarily see it coming this week, although if it does, Starmie can take on its Stab. And then, like Jellicent as well, he'd have to pack some he could pack same coverage for both of those, but in the same token, I think I could handle those 2. But my suspected 6, and this is, I'll do this, it's like my wrap up for this portion. My suspected 6 are definitely Azumarill, definitely Mega Manectric, definitely Porygon Z as his offense. I see Bronzong and Amoonguss as his defense, and I see either Garchomp or Mandibuzz as like a wild card, but I could also see a Selgor coming. If he brings Lantern, Hitmonchan, meh. And if he brings Emboar, a little spooky, but I think I could handle it. I don't know. If he brings, definitely the top 3 worries for me is Choice Banded or Belly Drum, Azumarill, Mega Manectric, just, you know, standard Mega Manectric, Scarf Porygon Z, and then Spadef, Bronzong, and defensive Amoonguss. Definitely all those are what I'm mainly fearing. So that being said, let me go into my team breakdown for this week. And for me, my team it's the best team I could possibly make for this situation. It's not necessarily a prime. It worries me, this team. It's a defensive Sylveon with Psyshock and HP Fire and Hyper Voice. Mega Aerodactyl, which is Home Claws set with Crunch, Aerial Ace, and Earthquake. Scarf Starmie with Rapid Spin, which, yes, commenter that I read last week, yes, I know Rapid Spin is an attacking move, but it's a utility move. It's not like a do damage move. Dual Stab and Ice Beam. Jellicent, which is a pretty standard. Like last week, I ran Psychic with the Recover Will-O-Wisp Scald. This week, it's a Giga Drain, like I said, in case the Lantern wants to come in and attempt to be like his primary switch, I can go for Giga Drain. Or if I'm in against the Azumarill, he can't just sum up on me. The Mamoswine, which is it's Life Orb. As you see with the little items in the corner of it, Scarfed, Leftovers, Cobra Berry, Jellicent, Life Orb, Mamoswine, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, Earthquake, and Knockoff. And then a special defensive Cobalion. This thing I think could do a lot of work. It's my best check to Porygon Z in terms of its Tri attacks. He'd have to run like Hidden Power Fighting to hit that really super effectively. The one problem is I can't let it get chipped down too much. This thing also my lead Taunter set to kind of shut down the Bronzong and even to stop the Mandos from defogging. Also, it has no attack investment as I'm running Close Combat, which no investment does like 88% to a Porygon Z. No investment. And I am... and I'm running Volt Switch. So, Taunt, Stealth Rock, Volt Switch, Close Combat. So that's my team, that's his team. Next week, this will be a little more smooth, but for this week, I'm kind of just rushing a little bit. So, that being said, that would be the team that you're going to look at in a second as I jump right into the battle. But, you know, with that in mind, this matchup is a little tough. Just like last week, you know, I look at one thing and I go, it's spooky. I have to plan for that really well. I look at something else on this team and I go, it's even spookier. What am I going to do about that? So, I definitely, and you know, and the other big thing I want to bring up too is that with Gubs leaving and Mono coming in, Mono won the PPL Division 2 this, you know, past season. So, I'm now in a division, little old me, is in a division with 2 GBA runner-ups, one from Season 2, one from Season 5, and then PPL champion. So, you know, rip me. But, hey, even if I lose often, guess what? I'm learning from some of the best players in this type of format. So, that's always the silver lining that I look at. Even if I don't necessarily win, I'm always learning from people who are better than me. So, that's always a plus in my book, I should say. So, that being said, let's go and jump into the battle. Alright, guys, we're here in the battle now. So, we look at my team, we look at his team. He brought the 3 things that I was really afraid of, being the Azumarill, the Porygon-Z, and the Mega Manectric. Definitely got to, you know, play very effectively around those, as I do have limited switch-ins for all of those. The Porygon-Z will be kind of checked by the Cobalion, because I do have a special defensive Cobalion this week. Mega Manectric, kind of the same thing, although Flamethrower is still going to do a solid amount of damage, and with the Intimidate, I'm not really going to be able to hit it that hard. The Azumarill, I need Jellicent to handle that, otherwise he can just set up at his own, you know, free will, and, well, then I'm dead. And then the, you know, the wall core of Bronzong, Amoonguss, and Mandibuzz pretty much check my 3 offensive Mons in Starmie, Mamoswine, and Mega Aerodactyl very effectively. So I'm going to play. What you'll notice this week is that we're going to be on his side. I was off running a calc and kind of like decompressing from the battle, and like an idiot, I didn't save the battle. And that's my fault. I've actually never done that before, so this is the first time I actually kind of screwed that one up. So from now on, I'm going to be like, yes, save battle right after I'm done with the match. So, that being said, I kind of confident with this team, kind of not. He does have a lot of good checks for my Mons, and that really does kind of scare me. Mega Manectric, if I let my Mons get too weak, is just going to plow through my team, hitting with Porygon-Z and Azumarill. So, just going to do my best here, see what happens. So, going into the match, we start with Cobalion. This is a Super Def Cobalion. I go for the taunt, and he's no slouch, and he's just going to see right through that and go for Earthquake. I thought he'd kind of get rocks up or do some other stupid shenanigans, but, you know, he gets a good third off. Now, the problem is with, you know, this Cobalion, it's going to get battered a lot. A lot. There's a lot of matchups that I need Cobalion to switch into and take hits. So, I'm going to switch into Jellicent, thinking he's going to go for a second Earthquake, but he's better than that. He knows what he's doing. He's not a champ for no reason. He goes into Amoonguss, and a great double switch forces me to lose a little momentum. That, you know, it's still an early game. I have to go back into Cobalion, and right here he's going to go for the Giga Drain. Now, you know, I'm not going to stay in. Giga Drain's going to do a little bit of damage, but then right here, I believe, you know, he's going to kind of showcase his set. At this point, I'm trying to get an idea of what his moveset is, even though I can kind of assume it's a little standard. Sludge Bomb for the Sylveon, Giga Drain for the Starmie, and for Jellicent, and then now we just HP Fire. So that hits the Cobalion. My last move that I'm thinking is Spore. So I'm going to go for Volt Switch here, and okay, so right here, as I switch, I'm thinking to myself, he's going to go for Spore. Like, and I had to pick something to be put to bed. And right here, we're going to see, right, the pressure gets in. Actually, just kidding. I'm going to turn ahead. He goes for HP Fire here, does minimal damage, like so little damage. Then we also see here his Black Sludge. So, I'm going to Mega Evolve, and I believe here I go for an Aerial Ace. And, I wanted to see how much damage this would do. This is not going to kill him. Fuck that. It's not going to do anything. It's defensive. Right. Okay, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. I thought he went for Spore a little bit earlier in the match. Right here is a problem, guys. I'm asleep. And this is a primetime sleep that's now asleep. Now, before I Mega Evolved, and before I decided to, click Mega Evolve, I was looking through my team, and I ran the timer down to like 3 seconds, right? And I'm looking at my team, I go, okay, if Jellicent goes to bed, Azumarill is allowed to come in anytime Jellicent's in, even if I don't burn a sleep turn, and go for sub or belly drum, or both. And then there goes my chances of winning. Now, if I put Cobalion to bed, that means that I have to rely on it waking up, and it's just going to keep getting battered and battered. Now, in hindsight, that was probably my best thing to be put to bed, because its main switchings, actually, maybe not, because if I did go into that, that means when Bronzong, next time it comes in, I can't taunt it, so that's going to get up rocks for free. And then Starmie's a Scarfer. Can't let that go to bed. I need that for, revenge killing, hitting Mega Manectric, hitting Porygon Z, maybe taking out something that's like lower HP. Mamoswine can't go to bed. So this, looking at it in terms of the match, this was dumb letting Mega Aerodactyl go to sleep. But then again, I didn't know what to let go to bed. I think I had to pick this impulsively, or not impulsively. I thought about it. I ran down the clock until I had no time left to do it. So, like I said, this goes to sleep, and Mono executes a very solid plan. And right here, he allows the Bronzong to get up rocks. Now that hinders me, because that means that Mamoswine and Mega Aerodactyl are both going to be taking hazard damage when they come in. Even Starmie's going to take a little bit of damage, which might, actually mean something as the match progresses on. Gets up his rocks. Cobalion comes in. Not really pleased about that, because now that means that somehow Starmie has to come in and rapid spin and attempt to, not get beaten by whatever is in, because it's the Mandibuzz can knock off or foul play or U-turn even. The Amoonguss, Grass Stab, the Bronzong, Gyro Balls can do a lot based on the speed difference, because this thing is probably sassy. Actually, yeah, it is sassy, so. Going to Sylveon, take the Earthquake. It's defensive, so it takes that rather nicely. But then I go for Wish. I'm going to attempt to pass this out into either the... Actually, Cobalion, because it's a little weak. Let me see Toxic here. Now, I don't have Heal Bell this week. I have HP Fire, Witch Protect, and Hyper Voice. So now Sylveon's on a timer, and this little chip away damage is going to help him later on, because now that means that this thing can get picked off, or I can't necessarily stay in on this Bronzong. Otherwise, I'll get I'll just die eventually. So here I go back into Cobalion, and I'm pretty sure he is going to, I believe he capitalizes on that. Yeah, he's going to double switch out. And right here, I think he saw through the fact that I was passing off a Wish, because, Cobalion comes in, I'm going to get the Wish back to full HP, and this is not a bad matchup for me to be in. But the problem is I can't really touch the this Mega Manectric here. He's going to get the Intimidate off, and even if I had Earthquake with the Intimidate and the fact that he only needs to run so much HP for the, speed for the Noivern, this means that he has a fair chunk of HP investment. So I was kind of put into a box here. The best thing I could possibly do was go for Volt Switch and get out of there and attempt to get into a decent matchup. Now, with that being said, if I go into Mamoswine here, I take that damage. He's going to go into Bronzong, because Earthquake is so deadly obvious. Right here, that could have been a play I made, but instead I go into Starmie, and I showcase immediately that I am Scarfed. So I'm going for Hydro Pump here. The little voice in my head was screaming, go for Psychic, but the problem was, where this Amoonguss was, I do not think that I would have been able to kill it. It would have been close, and he would have just swapped out and got all his HP back with Regenerator, and go right into Mandibuzz, which pretty much puts that in for free. So right here, I suspect he's going to go for Giga Drain, and I tried burn off sleep turns somehow, and in doing so, I thought if you want for Giga Drain, I can get another turn off where I could attempt to burn off a sleep turn. Doesn't quite work out. Again, makes a solid double into Mandibuzz, and I'm doing a lot of switching here. I really don't have a good opportunity to take on anything. At least, he built a very solid team. So we talked after the match, and he said that he wanted to use his walls not to sit there, but to essentially kind of give him momentum or take away mine. And that you see that right here when he goes for U-turn with the Mandibuzz. You know, I bring in Sylveon, a Pokemon which obviously does have the right stab to hit Mandibuzz, but he gets out and he goes into Moongus, which, you know, I can't stay in. He's going to go for Sludge Bomb. My only real switch in here is either the Cobalion or to go back into Mega Aerodactyl, take that rock damage, and then, of course, try and burn off Sleep Turns. So I'm kind of in a pickle here. This match didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to. So right here, he's going to go for Sludge Bomb. He's going to try and capitalize on me staying in, potentially going for a Wish, going for HP Fire. He knows both of those are not going to really yield very positive results for me, especially because Sludge Bomb is going to do so much damage. I'm sure he knows that. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to go for Ice Crush here. I could have, again, I could have, I have Knockoff, it's Life Orb, you know, and I could have went for that here, but I thought Icicle Crash on top of a Knockoff could, you know, take out this Bronzong. But then he is going to pretty much, this is where I lose the game. Outside, like, the first thing that kind of screwed me was the fact that I let Mega Aerodactyl go to bed. The second is right here. Cold Berry activates, going for Gyro Ball, he's going to knock me out. Yes, I'm speeding through this match, but that's all I have to say about this specific part. Should have I had noticed the Cobra Berry? Yes. Does it suck that I didn't notice it until it was too late when he stayed in and I went for Knockoff, and before the berry even activated, just like Steve last week, I didn't see it? Yeah. And that's shitty. Now I say it to the fans, I say to, you know, the analysts, the coaches who watch this, yeah, I got it. I mean, you're gonna scrutinize me anyway and tell me how much of an idiot I am, which I agree with you. Oh, I agree with you. But you know, you don't have to keep like driving the nail into the coffin. I understand that was a mess up. So is letting Mega Aerodactyl go to bed. I am going to be ranked very low across all of, you know, whether it's the Pick and Crew or the power rankings. I'm going to get proverbially shit on by a lot of people, even in my comment section as well. So right here, my best opportunity right here was to go for Wish and go for Protect, maybe pass off a Wish into Mega Aerodactyl. That was actually my plan right here. If he had killed me with the Sludge Bomb, this Wish was going to Mega Aerodactyl because he couldn't necessarily take me on, not take me on, but take me out. Because if he goes Giga Drain, like he kind of sees right here, something's taking damage. But I'm going to do this again and let the poison damage kill me, which actually gives Bronzong a kill. But I'm going to go for another Wish, go for another Protect, and I'm going to end up trying to pass that off into something else because the Sylveon is not really going to do much, and I'm having a hard time attempting to get momentum somewhere. So even if I pass it off to Mega Aerodactyl, get it back to full HP, I can at least try and attempt to let it at some point try and wake up. Maybe just start dealing damage somewhere. Pretty much right here, since I lost the Mamoswine, which I think I'm changing up the nickname to Killer Frost now because Nick, you let me down. You let me down twice, man. You're killing me, man. Also, don't think you want me to associate my name, my stink, with you. So that's a joke. So I'm gonna change the name and I'll save you the trouble of embarrassment because I'm embarrassing you. So go back into Mega Aerodactyl. You're gonna get the Wish to come back up, and I can't stay in because foul play is a thing. And now my one foul play taker is dead, and if it still was alive, he would just go ahead and U-turn out. So get the Wish back up and back up to full HP. So at least Sylveon did some sort of supportive, you know, motion here. But I'm still forced to switch. Like, that's the problem. You know, I go into something, attempt to get some sort of momentum, but Mono did a great job with his team in terms of like building to take away all of my options. This team, like I've seen, doesn't necessarily give me good options all around, and I have to play a certain way. But I think with seeing that now for 2 weeks, I'm definitely going to adjust how I'm playing. This team is offensive, right? This team has, you know, more offense than it does defense. So I think I have to start playing like that. I kind of have to adjust my play style to the team, whereas in previous seasons of the GBA, I have adjusted the team to my play style, if you catch my drift. So, whereas we saw in previous seasons where I went, like Arcanine, Clefable, and Latias did the job mostly to allow me to handle the other team, now I have to kind of adjust my playstyle to the team I'm using. So, like, that means, let's get aggressive. Let's get aggressive with Mamoswine. Let's get aggressive with Starmie. Let's get aggressive with Mega Aerodactyl. Let's force positive results on my end, where, as compared to me switching around and trying to, like, kill things in a gradual sense, let's kind of move that up a little bit. Let's let my offense do the work, and let's not, like, fall back on what I'm comfortable with, which is, a very more balanced, kind of balanced, like 2 walls and a tank type of play style, which I've had before. Kind of, let's, like, bring a little more offense, bring a little more pressure, and actually use the speed to my advantage. That's the thing I'm seeing now with these 2 weeks. I'm letting my opponent dictate how the turns are going, and if any time as an analyst has showed me anything, the longer I do that, the less chances I have to win. And we're seeing that here. Spoilers, I lose. But, like I said, even though these matches aren't, showcasing good results for me, like I'm not winning, I'm understanding what this team is capable of and how I can adjust my play style to ensure that I get better results in the future. Now, I'm not exactly pleased that I lost this match. I think like I said, I think Mono just did a fantastic job in how he built this team to essentially, like, nullify all of my options team-wise. But on the same token, I'm learning that my team has to be played a certain way in order to yield positive results, so that I do eventually get a win under my belt. That's what I want. So I didn't want to talk over that whole Mandibuzz Jellicent bullshit because it was kind of boring, and I have no attack investment, and I have 0 attack IV, so the foul play wasn't doing anything. And otherwise, if I brought the Jellicent in any other time, this Azumarill we're seeing right now could essentially just set up and sweep me. So I'm forced here to go for Psychic. I don't really have any other better option. I think I'm down to Cobalion here and Mega Aerodactyl. And I'm forced really here to go to Psychic, and he has Play Rough, so I'm dead. But I thought maybe a crit could happen, but that's not how this works. So I just go for Psychic, get some damage off. I'm going to go to Cobalion, I'm going to Volt Switch out. He is going to Aqua Jet here, and he's going to, get some damage off. Now, my play here, again, I'm padding differential at this point. My play here, he goes for Aqua Jet. He's going to get a good amount of damage off. I'm going to go for Volt Switch, attempt to pick off a little bit more HP. Now, my last-ditch effort here is to bring in the Mega Aerodactyl, which has full HP, and it has a fair amount of HP investment, I believe 120 HP EVs. And in doing so, my best option here is to hope I fucking wake up. I've been now asleep now for 3 turns. This is going to be the 4th turn. And do we wake up? No, we don't. So I'm in bed, and I'm also dead. So, in bed, dead. And Cobalion's also getting knocked out by another Aqua Jet. So I lose 4-0. Mono, great first battle that he shows up here in the GBA. He showcases why he definitely deserves to be here over Gubs. I'm upset that I lost, but I'm not upset at the results that I have found from this match, right? We saw that things need to change, right? The first thing that need to change in order to get me out of this fucking hole that I've dug myself. Now I'm like -7. 0 and 2, -7. First thing that I've learned that needs to change is the fact that I need to adjust how I'm playing this team. No more 2 walls. No more like trying to stay in my comfort zone. No more of that. Now we are going to go ahead and get offensive, get aggressive. Go ahead and try to use my offense as I intended it to be. Fast, hit hard, and ensure that I have some proper matchups and to kind of start breaking things. If I don't start breaking things, then this is just not going to end well for me. So, that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. The analysts are going to crucify me. I just hope you guys don't. Based on my team, I think I built the best team I possibly could. I probably said that already, but go check out Mono. Put his link in the description. I'm definitely glad that he's here. He's going to show off how good he is and how much better he can make the GBA. So Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm gonna keep trying, and we're gonna get some good results. So, sound off in the comments. Let's have a conversation. I actually enjoyed your comments last week, even though I lost, and I should have brought the Sylveon or the Mega Aerodactyl, as a lot of people said. So, yeah, let's talk in the comments, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.